Hello guys, as promised, here's a build guide for a Clash Paladin, what I believe to be the strongest build for Paladins in Season 30. Okay, let's start with the skill tree. So we want obviously Clash maxed out, gain resolve per Clash hit, 20% X, and the seize the modifier, which gives us huge damage boost through resolve stacking. Nothing in our core skill. We want to max out these two auras. This is the modifier we want for defense, and this is the modifier we want for fanaticism. This one doesn't really matter. I mean, this is okay. I guess we could save a point by not specing this, but not that important. This one is big. This one, 15% life is also nice, and 25% healing is pretty good. You don't want to miss out on this. You'd rather remove a point from here. Okay, then Falling Star is our main mobility skill. This is the modifier we want for Falling Star because all the damage it leaves in its wake synergizes with Pain Gorger. We'll talk about that a bit later. Max Consecration. This is the modifier we want for Consecration. Increase size. This is going to be our main AoE spell because all the damage we do on main target will echo with on all the targets affected by Consecration through Pain Gorger gauntlets. 1 point in Fortress is more than enough. We don't want it to last as long. We want to cast it as often as possible. And these are the other two modifiers we want for Fortress. Now we have 3 points remaining, and I decided to go with a passive 4% chance on attack or spending resolve to gain 15% block damage reduction. This is a pretty nice passive bonus, and you don't have to do anything for it, not even put ages on your bar. So that's okay. Next, let's move on to the Paragon boards. These are the glyphs where I use for the moment. Resplendence is core to our build. Every aura cast reduces the cooldown of every non-aura skill by 2 seconds, including our ultimate. That's the one we care about. Sentinel. This is pretty self-explanatory. 1.5x damage for each stack of resolve. Spirit is also pretty nice. I chose to socket it in the first board because it has the most willpower around the glyph socket. Cheap and owned. Owned is also a pretty good glyph in my opinion, especially if you socket it in the beacon board. Beacon board has the most intelligence around the socket, as you can see, 79. And with all the points taken, this gives us a huge crit damage boost, 340%, and another 18.4x. The only glyph you could consider also socketing is Outmatch. Outmatch feels pretty good, 20% X damage to bosses. Bosses are our greater weakness. So you could consider this. If I were to swap out one glyph, I guess it would be cheap. It feels like a worst one over here, 15x and 14x, 29 multiplier. This is already 33.6. So you might want to consider doing this swap. For now, I'm good just like this. Okay, let's move on to itemization. Definitely Air of Perdition here. If you can get a greater affix on crit chance, that would be a huge boost. Mandatory chest piece is Mantle of the Grey, because it makes our Juggernaut Oath give a lot more damage. Gloves are also mandatory Pain Gorger. This is our AoE source. This coupled with Consecration is gonna make us deal a lot of AoE damage. Also, this synergizes well with the aspect we wear on the amulet, Vanguard, because Juggernaut will deal 210% X increased damage to the first enemy it hits, and this will echo the damage done on the first enemy to all enemies inside Consecration. Pants. This aspect has been reworked last Tuesday on the patch, and since then it's our greatest DR source. I have about 96.3% all damage reduction due to this item all alone. Without it, I have 30%. So this alone takes care of our entire survivability. As you can see, I have 12 million stacked, 12 million toughness when I'm at max fortitude, max result stacks, which is 74 for me right now. Boot interdiction aspect. We get kept block chance only through this aspect. Shard of Veratiel is mandatory for the build as well. I got pretty lucky on this drop. This is a pretty good drop. I mean, the only thing I would like to change here is life on hit and all damage, and probably get max life and vulnerable damage, but I'm not gonna complain too much about this. This is a huge drop for me. Next, on rings, we want redirected force and Juggernaut Covenant. These are pretty good aspects. And on the shield, we go for Moonrise aspect, which gives us 20% attack speed as well as 60% X basic skill damage. Movement speed is also nice. We are capped even without it, but if you're not capped, this is a nice source of movement speed. As you can see, we are stacking quite a bit of cooldown reduction. That's because we want to keep Fortress up as much as possible. Fortress is our biggest damage source. You never want to fight without Fortress on. For the talismans, of course, we're using the Katan's Righteous Will set. We want Juggernaut skills wherever you can get it. Our the unique charm which gives us the most damage by far is Blood Med, but it comes at the cost of a bit of survivability. Because I'm wearing Blood Med Idol, I chose to socket rubies in all of my jewelry and increase the fire resistance as much as I can, because all the damage Blood Med Idol is going to do is fire. For the seal, you have to use a seal which increases maximum resolve stacks. I went for this one. I will talk about attack speed in just a second. I went for this one because it gives attack speed. The alternative is this. These two are kind of just as good, only I'm going for an attack speed build right now. I'm going to explain this. Okay, our damage multipliers. So we have crit strike damage, vulnerable damage, all damage, and damage with physical. All damage, as you can see, is by far the highest. I mean, in combat, when we are attacking something, all damage multiplier goes to something like 51,000, probably like that when we cast Fortress, when we have a Fortress on. Okay, so the key here is always look for the lowest number of these. Vulnerable damage is currently my lowest number, so if I were to add something right now, I would add vulnerable damage. Your lowest multiplier is always the best to add. So keep checking out your multipliers and always increase your lowest. If you are ever wondering which is best, crit damage or vuln damage or all damage, just come here and check which one of them is the lowest. That's the one you need to increase as soon as possible. Crit chance, this is really important. You always have to have 100% crit chance in combat. As you can see, we can barely hit that. We have 79 base crit chance. We have a greater aspect on the gloves and also on the amulet, which helps us do that. We get another 10% crit from our rune ward, Cheer Guard. This is 10% crit at all times, so we get 89.5. And we also get 14%, yes, 14% crit chance from Fanaticism Aura. And that brings us just a little over 100. Then you are faced with a choice. Do you want to increase your vulnerable damage multiplier or increase your attack speed? I went for attack speed solely because it feels way smoother to play. I mean, I'm not sure if going for vulnerable instead is a mistake, but attack speed definitely makes the build more enjoyable. As you can see, I'm at 100% attack speed in combat. We get 20 from here, 35 from Fanaticism, 7 times 5, and I have 46.6 base. This added with 55 is just 101.6, so barely overcap. That's why I went for attack speed temper. I chose to use the rune words for the last 10% crit instead of the temper on weapon, just so I can hit the attack speed cap. I also have attack speed tempers on my Air of Perdition and on my pants. This was a lucky one. This is a pretty nice pair of pants. We go for maximum resolve stacks temper wherever we can, on every piece basically, except gloves, boots, weapon, and rings, where I went for cooldown. Cooldown is also pretty important for this build because the rotation you always want to hit is cast Fortress, fight, with move once every 2 seconds due to the relentless paragon point. When Fortress is over, cast all your auras, then recast Fortress. Always move to keep the Fortress cooldown low. Move, cast auras, cast Fortress again. This is always going to be a rotation. You never want to fight without Fortress on. I guess I've hit pretty much about all the points that I wanted to hit. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in the comments. And yeah, that's about it. You can watch this build perform how it performs on a T12 Mephisto, T12 Lilith, and speedrunning a 130 bit. Again, any questions you have, feel free to ask in the comments. I will try to answer them as best I can. See you guys. Good luck. Have fun.
To think you all started here, born of light and of hatred. And to hatred you shall return. You impetuous fool! So be it. You want the truth of what I am. Let all illusions burn from your eyes. I have already poisoned so much effort spent. Yet still my waters rise. Wake up! Your mother is not here to pull you back to the surface. No choice but submission. Strike at me all you wish. This flesh means nothing. I am eternal. I am eternal. follow.